How do you tell the story of a victim whose face you can't show and whose entire family, we can't use their voices? We did a film called In Jennifer's Room that was an illustration, video. We kept calling it in-house, sort of a novella.
I think Jenny was 6, 7, 8 months old. I could see something wasn't right. I knew it.
It really elevated the storytelling of a sexual assault against one woman who was living at the Sonoma Developmental Center, and tells it in a way that I just couldn't equal in print. Initially, we thought, well, we'll shoot video, but then, well, that was out. We can't show them, and understandably, they were scared of what could happen if we showed them, and because the person who assaulted Jennifer was never caught, so we don't know where he is. So then we moved on, well, maybe we'll just do some sort of video about the larger problem. But then that was like, well, that's redundant. You know, we just did that with the print story. So what really, you know, let's do something that can stand alone and that really supplements. And so we came back to the story of Jennifer. And I'd had these great interviews that I'd recorded with Jennifer's mother. And we thought, well, we can't use her voice, but what if somebody read from the transcript?
On her arms, here, 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 here. All over her body she had bruises, and they couldn't explain the bruises.
And then Carrie Ching and I, who was our multimedia producer, sat down and we just mapped out chapters and how the story should flow. And Carrie had the great idea, illustrations. What about illustrations? And I was like, oh, really? We don't do a lot of animation in journalism, especially not investigative. But I trusted Carrie. We'd built a relationship and when I saw the drawings, I knew, oh man, this is big. This is really good. People have a hard time connecting with the developmentally disabled, or the idea of it, and they turn off because it doesn't feel like it has anything to do with them. So one of the objectives for the animation, the illustrations, was to show Jennifer as a regular person. Not to distort her, but to show she's a kid. She was a kid who was raised up, and here's what this family went through. And here's how she ended up at the Sonoma Developmental Center. We wanted people to start out with not Jennifer is a severely disabled person. We wanted to start out with Jennifer's a person. And here's who she is, and here's what happened to her. There's almost no reporting about abuse that takes place in the community, in group homes for the disabled. It's this big black hole where law enforcement doesn't like to take these cases, and nobody really gets access to group homes. And I think that's an area that desperately needs to be reported on. That was one of my takeaways, is that a lot more work to be done. Just because people are severely disabled doesn't mean they don't deserve justice.